Hello everyone, welcome to a somewhat new series of episodes you can expect to see more often on my channel. In it, you will find retold tales and stories about things that I personally find interesting. Stories of the unexplained, supernatural, legends, unsolved, and of course, paranormal. So please, lock your doors, turn off your lights, check under your bed or look behind your couch, plug in your headset, and listen to this tale I bring to you tonight. There is an old legend about an abandoned house in Mexico dubbed the Orphanage of the Dead. The story tells of a rich woman who was never able to have her own children, so she decided to adopt and help those who were most in need of attention. It is said that the woman would take in the orphans that nobody else wanted. She took in the kids with disabilities, burnt victims, kids with missing limbs, and those who had major psychological issues. For the most part, she and her personal nurse were pretty good at caring and managing the children's behavior. She loved and cared for each one of them dearly. She even built a special home for them nearby a forested area a few miles outside of the city so that kids could have enough room to run and play without being bothered or made fun of by anyone. It took some time for everybody to adjust to their new living conditions, but once they did, everybody appeared to be happy. The kids loved their new home and would always look forward to be taken out on short excursions and hikes. Sometimes they would all go camp on top of a nearby hill where they would listen to stories their new mother would tell them while they laid back, looking up at the night sky, gazing at the millions of stars above. Life was good until one day a rich local rancher bought acres of land near the orphanage. The new neighbor built a huge luxurious hacienda that he would share with some of his servants and his two teenage sons. After the rancher found out about the orphan children next door, he became cruel and would often taunt the kids. He used to make fun of them and would even throw sticks or rocks at them while they played outside just to get a reaction out of them. The weeks and months passed by and the mocking got worse regardless of the multiple visits he would get from the orphan's caretaker, pleading with the man to stop harassing the children. The woman even tried to get authorities involved, but because the rancher was well off and rich, there would be nobody who would touch him. Soon after, the man's two sons joined their father and would also torment the children. The story reached a boiling point when one day, one of the rancher's sons got drunk and decided that he would burn their house down where the orphans lived in hopes that they would move away somewhere else. His plan was to sneak over, douse the house in gasoline, light it on fire the next time the kids went on a camping trip. The day quickly came and the orphans were all getting ready to go and camp. As planned, the teenager waited until it was dark. He snuck over the fence, poured gasoline all around the perimeter of the house, and lit it on fire. When he saw how quickly the flames took over, he immediately ran back to his room that overlooked the orphanage and watched in delight as the house caught on fire. But what he didn't know was that the camping trip had been canceled at the last minute because a few of the children were very sick and they would need extra attention until they got better. All of the orphans were inside the house when it was lit. And soon after, the rancher's son could see and hear in terror all of the children's desperate screaming for help, and some of them would jump off the second-story windows and run across the yard while on fire. The townsfolk soon got word of the fire and quickly ran to give aid, but by the time they got there, it was too late. The house had been lost to the flames, and most of the orphans perished that night. The few that did manage to survive would never be the same. The woman who had cared for them so much was badly burnt trying to save the children. And soon after, she too passed away from her injuries. The nurse who had helped care for them was found in one of the rooms in between all of the rubble, where she and 2 other children tried to take shelter from the flames. She was found holding on tight to both of the kids. None of them made it out alive. After the investigation was completed, the teenager immediately was arrested and locked up for life. With a broken heart, some of the townspeople offered to care for the surviving children, and so they did. Weeks went by, and while the rancher tried his best to forget the ordeal, he was soon placed in an insane asylum. His staff would tell that the man would wake up every night screaming and in a cold sweat, claiming to hear children crying for help. He would also swear to still be able to see how some of the children would run around his yard on fire. Several nights, he would wake up and declare that he was surrounded by children with distorted faces staring back at him from the shadows of his bedroom and from every dark corner of his house. The son who was arrested committed suicide while in jail. His cellmate stated that he would constantly speak to someone even though nobody was there, and he confessed to him that the children were there and they wanted him dead. Nobody knows what happened to his second son, but some say that he too hung himself in his father's barn. Since this happened, the old hacienda has been abandoned and left to decay. Anyone who's decided to camp there overnight will often hear desperate children screaming for help. Legend says that some people who have listened to this story will see shadowy figures resembling kids staring back at them from the dark corners of your room. If you do, that might be one of the orphan children trying to tell you something. I am Cryptid Hunter. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, please leave a comment and hit that like button to let me know that you want to hear more stories like this in the near future. Until next time, stay strange.